In the early 1990s, the Somali Civil War forced one of Somalia's most famous musical groups into exile. And in 2014, they were reunited at the Cedar Cultural Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota for a week-long residency as part of a program called Midnimo. These 7 band members came from all over the world, and it was their first time performing together or even seeing each other in over 20 years. The residency finale concert at the Cedar drew over 500 audience members, about half of who were Somali and half of whom were non-Somali. Midnimo, Music for Unity, Campus, and Community, is a program of the Cedar and Augsburg College whose purpose is to increase understanding and awareness of Muslim cultures through music. So the Cedar and Augsburg College are located in the Cedar Riverside neighborhood of Minneapolis, which is home to the largest Somali diaspora of anywhere outside of Africa. The Somali community actually has a very rich performing arts and music culture. Somalia is called the nation of poets. However, Somali music culture was almost entirely wiped out when the Civil War started in the early 90s, and that was because instruments and recordings were looted, bands broke up because members had to flee the country, and there was also this wave of Islamic conservatism that proclaimed music as haram, or forbidden. So, whereas musicians were once seen as the leaders of their community, they were now almost seen as miscreants. Combined with a lack of resources, this means that Somali musicians, both at home and abroad, are kind of building this Somali music culture almost from scratch. So here in Minneapolis, we actually have a lot of Somali singers, but because there aren't very many Somali instrumentalists, there aren't any full Somali bands, which is why reuniting Cedar Band was such a meaningful thing for the Somali community here to experience. Midnimo is really opening new doors for both Somali and non-Somali communities here in the Twin Cities. So far, the program has reached more than 3,000 audience members, and for most of these audience members, both Somali and non-Somali, Midnimo has provided an opportunity to experience live Somali music for the first time. We have commissioned work and collaborations with local Somali singers Mohammed Alta, Deka Bilan, Argos, Ahmed Ganshala, and more. Giving these artists the resources that they really need to put full live musical works on the stage. We've hosted residencies with Taleh Band, and we reunited Cedar Band for a week-long residency. We've worked with faculty at Augsburg to incorporate Midnimo activities into class curriculum, which is enriching the educational experience for students and enabling Somali artists from around the world to share their knowledge, tradition, and experience with our next generation.
I think Augsburg is located right in the heart of a major Somali community. Augsburg students are getting out to these Somali shows and they're getting comfortable talking with Somalis in their own community.
Yeah, it's really cool because I know that we have a lot of these Somali artists in the cities, and their access to them is literally a block away, so there's no reason not to go check it out.
Midnimo has opened new doors for Somalis and non-Somalis, because before Midnimo that the Somali community were doing their own thing in hotels and other places, and then the greater community, of course, some of them were coming to the Cedar Culture Center. But now that the Somali community and the greater community are interacting with each other, and the Cedar is a safe space for both of them to come, and Midnimo made it happen. That project, in partnership with Augsburg College, made the Somali and non-Somali community interact with each other, and it's an amazing program. The Somali community are seeing that Somali musicians collaborating / performing with the non-Somali musicians. And that is the most interesting part, is because that over 20 years we haven't, of course my generation haven't seen a Somali live music ever. And now all the generations, of course, including my generation, can come to the Cedar and see a Somali musician live, performing live at the Cedar. And that's what I love about the Midnimo program.